Hello, everyone. My name is Sriram. I'm the Director of Product Management here at Arista Networks for our campus portfolio. And I have with me Parul, my colleague.
Good morning. I'm Parul. I'm Senior Technical Marketing Engineer, Arista's Campus Group. And
Right. So we'll quickly, like I said, we've been, since the last time we provided you an update in the last Mobility Field Day about our NAC solution, we've made tremendous progress. If you recall, one of the things that we talked about last time was, we kind of said that our NAC is part of a broader security story, and it's all coming together right now. We recently launched our MSS segmentation solution, and I want to quickly walk through the foundational building blocks of our zero trust network architecture. Right, the first is the first aspect of a ZTN architecture is to be able to authenticate the clients, ensure that the clients have the right credentials before they join the network, right? And as part of that, it might also involve onboarding, which is like if you're using certificates, how do you get the certificates to the device, right? And once they connect to the network, you want to be able to understand what that device type is, right? Just because you've proved your identity doesn't mean you get access to everything in the network. So that is profiling, really understanding what the device is. Is it a printer? Is it a medical device? Is it an employee device? Who's the user that's connecting on the network? Understand more context about the device and the user, and use that as a basis for deciding what the device can or cannot do in the network, right? So that's where our CV CloudVision AGNI comes in, our cloud-based NAC solution that does onboarding, authentication, profiling. And the outcome of profiling is that it will group all these devices into segments, okay? So it will assign these devices that connect into the network into segments. And this information will be fed into our segmentation service, okay? The segmentation service will take that input and enforce that in the network. And like I mentioned before, the way we do segmentation, we don't have any proprietary tags. We don't modify the packets, modify the headers, network agnostic, and it works on obviously on top of our infrastructure, but also works on multi-vendor environment. And that's where our MSS comes in. Now, once you let the device in the network, I mean, as you all know, most of the threats actually happen from the device that is in the network. So you need to be able to constantly monitor what the device is doing in the network, whether it's wired or Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter, right? And be able to identify that when the device is doing something wrong, be able to identify and take dynamic action. And that's where our NDR comes in. So NDR are software, these are software sensors that run on the switch, natively on the switch, right? No additional appliance, no additional hardware. They run on the switch. They look at every packet going through the switch at the edge, understands every specific flow, extracts the key information from the flow, sends it to a centralized engine called the nucleus engine, which looks at all the packets from the environment, does behavioral analytics, and tells you that, hey, this device is exhibiting anomalous behavior. So for example, you have let a printer in the network and assume that the printer is doing something that's not a print job, right? Our NDR solution will identify that there is something wrong with this device. Now, what do you do, right? One is alerting, but you have to go back and take action. And that's where the integration of NDR with CloudVision AGNI with our NAC solution comes in. So NDR will first increase the risk profile of the device. It will send an alert to AGNI, our NAC solution, and AGNI will enforce certain policies. Could be change the VLAN, could be quarantine the device, could be blacklist the device, change the role, change the ACLs on both wired and Wi-Fi. It doesn't matter. It's standard based on COA. So this is kind of the foundation of our zero trust network architecture, and we'll show some of this in action in the demo later on. And then real quick, I just want to kind of recap the CloudVision AGNI architecture, how it all works. All our infrastructure components use RADSec to talk back to our NAC on the cloud. Underneath RADSec is just standard radius protocol. And the best part is it also works on any third-party infrastructure because underneath is just standard radius, right? As long as the third-party infrastructure supports RADSec, we can work on top of any third-party infrastructure. But in case there are customers that are running, antiquated device and operating systems that don't support RADSEC, in those cases, what we can do is you can have one of our switches running EOS act as a RADSEC proxy, right? It doesn't have to be a physical appliance. It can be a virtual EOS appliance. You can install this in your data center or even in AWS, and that can access the Radius RADSEC proxy, terminating Radius from the network and talking back to AGNI using RADSEC. Yeah.
Quick question,
Sure. Yeah.
Ram. As a part of the Arista CloudVision portfolio, do you also have, you're just offering this as NAC as a service? Do you also have PKI capabilities over there?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. So the AGNI's got. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to touch upon. I'm not going to touch upon all the capabilities of AGNI. Yes, we do have a PKI, onboard PKI. This is something that we have had since the time we launched last year. We can integrate with any third-party PKI as well. Symantec, Microsoft CA. Like you see, we can integrate with MDM to provision the certificates from our PKI infrastructure as well. Right? Yes, we do. Yep.
Does your RADSEC fully support edge roam as well?
Yes. So thank you. Yes, we do support edge roam. We support. We are in the process of working. There is one use case we support, which is we support a use case of where a third-party user comes into our network. The reverse is something that we are working on.
Okay.
Do you guys manage all the RADSEC certs automatically?
Yes, Kevin. I think we have built a very scalable way of generating CSR automatically from our infrastructure, both APs and switches, and then the CloudVision kind of pushes all those certificates for RADSEC to the infrastructure. So you can do it in scale pretty easily.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Right, and then we have made this solution completely open. We integrate with all identity providers, as you can see, MDM, popular endpoint security agents, and just because of the fact that it's very generic framework, we can add these new integrations very quick, right? And this is really driven by our customer needs. So with that, we will hop on. I'll have Parul do some demos. All right, so I'm going to skip some of these slides. We talked about this last time. What I just want to highlight is that we talked about the EPTLS support, and this is supported in the product today on the AP. All right, and one last thing, we also support TACACS on the for device administration, right? And this has been one of the challenges. A lot of customers came up to us and said, "Hey, if I have to migrate existing legacy ICE or ClearPass to your solution, you need to make TACACS work," and we have made that work. And I think we're running out of time. I won't be able to get into the details, but again, happy to chat offline. But essentially, at a high level, one of the switches acts as a gateway that terminates TACACS from all the infrastructure components, and in the backend talks to AGNI to complete the authentication, right? And we can dive into the details on how exactly it works offline.
Quick question on
Sure,
on AGNI. Any plans or integration with any private cellular space?
Yes, so we have a partnership with Highway 9. That is somebody that we partner with, and we have our solution working with with Highway 9 gateways. Yeah, so you can seamlessly roam. If you're using eSIM, you can use AGNI to authenticate and connect back to their core. All right, okay, Parul, please go ahead.
So we'll have the Crowdstrike first. Okay.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this. The first demo is, we'll show how we use NDR to detect that there is a threat, right? And when we detect there is a threat of a device connected on the network, it will send a notification to AGNI, and AGNI will quarantine the device on the network.
So as Sri mentioned, he explained everything about the NDR actually. So let's get started. And as you see here, the first thing, using the Concourse app, we can install the NDR app. And once configured, ensuring, let's see this one. Yeah, the profile synchronization should be enabled. And based on that, next comes the authorization profile. So we have 3 different profiles here for the authorization on the basis of attributes what we get from the NDR, the quarantine, whether if the device is quarantined, deny the access. If the device is non-quarantined, allow it, and based on the profile also. For example, here is if it is a Polycon phone, then it should be placed in different VLAN. Other than that, we also have a default policy, which means if none of the profile match, then device should be assigned to the default one. So let me just take a pause here. So when the device connect very first time, it is placed in the default policy, as you can see here. Then AGNI will fetch the profile synchronization from the NDR, and when that happens, I will pull that. So you see here the device is like in the default mode right now. We fetch the profile synchronization from NDR, then AGNI will send the COA, device will disconnect, connect back, and this time because it's already being profiled as Polycon phone, so it is assigned to the correct segment and assigned in the right VLAN. So now on the NDR also, and also if you can see here, we also pull additional attributes like device hierarchy, device type. On NDR, as Shri mentioned, NDR keeps details of all the client activity, and the risk score is high. If you see on the right side, risk score is high, then what security analysis does, it can mark the risk action as quarantine. Once device is quarantined, it will generate an alert. AGNI will receive. Immediately, AGNI will send the COA. Device will disconnect, as you see here in the last one. It's going very fast. Let me just little bit pause over here. I'm just highlighting here. The existing session will be closed. Now, because device got disconnected, it will try to connect back, and this time it will be denied access. We'll go here. Okay, it's little bit high, yeah. And it failed. The details show because it was due to the segment policy, which says that if the device is quarantined, then it should get its access should be denied. So what we did this with NDR and AGNI integration. First, we are getting the detailed and accurate profile of IoT devices. Plus, we are also deploying the zero trust network architecture. Thank you. That's about the NDR.
Thank you, Parul.
Shri?
Yeah.
Next.
So I just want to call out a few things. One is, you see how we integrate with NDR, right? I think, one of the things that we are realizing when we talk to a lot of enterprise customers is, all of them that have deployed, any NAC solution, right? You'll be surprised that, when we talk to 10 customers, 9 of them use NAC for pure authentication. They have not enabled any kind of NAC, right? This is the truth. This is the reality, right? Though they might have paid for all the licenses, none of them have really implemented NAC. And I think there are 2 reasons why they say. One is they feel that setting up NAC policies in existing environment is just a PhD project, right? It's super complex. We have made it amazingly simple, right? And second, they don't want to go and touch their existing network because they fear that they're going to break something. And again, we've made this super easy and intuitive. And you can just see how we have defined the policies. So extending from NDR, like I said, we don't lock in our solution to our own products. We keep it open. So say in case you're using Crowdstrike as your endpoint agent, right? And then you want to integrate with Crowdstrike, and say the Crowdstrike agent is running on the device is connected on the network, it's has full corporate access, and say the device goes to a website and downloads a malware, and Crowdstrike detects some anomalous activity, right? So what Crowdstrike can do is dynamically it can send an alert to AGNI, just like how NDR sends an alert to AGNI. Crowdstrike can send an alert to AGNI, and in fact, we have designed this in such a way that we can take feeds from any third-party security system, right? So in this case, very similar workflow. We take feed from Crowdstrike. Crowdstrike is telling that, hey, this device is non-compliant, and we can go back and take very similar actions on the network. We can quarantine, we can kick the client out, change the VLAN, change the role, change the ACLs, etc. And that's what PaloAlto is going to show.
So similarly, using the Concourse framework, we install the Crowdstrike app. After all the necessary configuration is done, next step is configuring the segment which are authorization profile. As you can see here again, let me just go back and explain the. So we AGNI, what it does, it obtains 4 different attributes from the CrowdStrike: containment status, sensor version, and also the minute the device was last seen. Based on that, AGNI admin can create all the policies. And let's observe what happens when the client connects. So client connects, it's evaluated, and as we can see in the detail, AGNI pulls all these attributes from the CrowdStrike. Now, actually I restarted from this one. So just let's go back and perfect. So now the client detail also shows what are the attributes we are receiving. Once we do that, now as Shri mentioned, so any change in the client attribute. So this was about the first one, that because we pull the information, it was evaluated with the right segment, allowed access. Now any change in the CrowdStrike attribute status will trigger an event. Now we will go and find this device in the CrowdStrike using the MAC address. We look for the client, and as you can see here, the status, it's not contain. We'll change the status to contain. As soon as we do this, it will generate a event notification. Existing session is closed. AGNI sent the COA. Now let's go and check the app logs here. And right here we see we are highlighting that we received the audit event. Client connects back, and this time it fails in the authentication. So in summary, what we are doing with the CrowdStrike, again, using AGNI and all these attributes, we are providing 2 things. One is the efficient client connection management, and also we are doing enforcing the policies based on the real-time attribute change, which ensures that, okay, network security and compliance. So the third one, actually, I wanted to talk about secure guest onboarding. What AGNI does, it makes the secure guest onboarding, of course, it is secure, as I'm saying. And second thing is redirection free. As you must have come today here and you logged in, you were redirected to a captive portal page, and then you enter all your information, right? Well, it's not that, sometimes it's very hassle. Personally, I feel it. So what about in AGNI, what we did, just 2 steps. As a guest, you walk to the kiosk, self-registration, you enter your email, the system will generate a QR code for you. You take your smart device, scan, boom, connected. 2 simple steps. May I have a volunteer here? Drew? You're the
Drew, go.
okay.
Sorry to wake you up. Yes, I volunteer Drew. How's that?
Yep.
Good. What am I scanning?
Yep. So you'll have to come over here, sorry.
Drew, no pressure.
Yeah, or
Just don't mess it up, buddy.
I'll walk to you. And
Camera behind me. Plug your mic in.
good. All right. So let me just do this one here.
QR code.
Please.
Turn it this way, they can see it, just like all the gifts that
Yeah. Because I can see, and I'll say add guest. And then here it's the UPSK. Please enter your email.
Stephen
And add.
Yeah, right. That's great.
It generated QR code.
Good
Please
thing I
scan.
trust you.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's connected. You can check your Wi-Fi.
Might be connected.
While
Yeah.
Drew is,
There it is. Yeah.
see, simple.
All right.
It also send, the system will also send email to the guest
This is the
containing the UPSK, right? So UPSK and with a QR code, validity period, and AGNI admin will have control, complete control of the validity period. They can say that, okay, 1 day, 2 day, whatever the guest stays expected.
So do you also have a option over here?
Yes, yes, we do have.
So
So the benefit, as I said, it's secure. And the reason is like most of the time when we go to this hotel, I shouldn't say, but yeah. So whenever we go, while the business have complete control, who are connected, they have the complete information of us, right? Our data is not secure. Most of the time it's open SSID. But what AGNI is doing now, it's providing you secure and hassle-free guest onboarding user experience. So with that,
Awesome.
I'm done with the.
Thank you, Parul. We are right on time. Like always, we actually run out of time for one of the sessions. But really appreciate. I hope you all had fun. You all enjoyed our session. And if you have any follow-up questions, please feel free to connect with us. We'll be here. We'll be offline. And Keith will definitely get your Wi-Fi 7 client connected to the AP.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.